What's up guys, before I get into today's video, I would really appreciate it if you guys could give me a like, and if you haven't done so already, please go down there and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Like bringing content to you guys. Really enjoy my content. Please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Alright guys, so the installation of the new strut is actually very easy. So literally these two bolts and then the strut tower bolts, which are three bolts. They come off very easily with a 12 mil. They're not on there very tight. I've left the last one on there just to hold it so that I don't get anything falling. And then obviously when I remove the strut now, I will support it from the bottom with a jack so that the whole unit doesn't come down. That's why you get the camber adjustment on this, guys, is because this is the only thing that modulates the camber coming in and out on the front end. There's no upper control arm basically on here. It's just linked directly to the angle of which the strut is. So I'll get the OEM strut off. Again, I've made my mark on the camber bolt to see where that is pointing up, and then I will match that, I believe, to some extent with my new setup to keep, and I believe it's about a 1.3-ish% of negative camber, and I match that with the rear as well. So without getting more into it, let's get on it. Alright guys, let's get this off. Start to put my jack under. So brake line is out. I have to take the ABS sensor off. So I'm doing this, taking those, giving these a pinch and push. It's much easier to pinch from the top and bottom. It seems to be the only thing holding it in. So you obviously want to hold the bulkhead stationary and only be bolting from the nut. So there's one, and this makes one's less. And then that's what. I'm going to get a small extension. So I'll use a swivel, an impact swivel. That bolt. Let's see how that already is swiveling. So there's a washer. Okay, so that's how the nut or the bolt looks. So mine is pointing up, so it looks like the more beefier end of things was more pointed towards the upper half of the hub. So literally I'll take the one nut off the top while holding There's the OEM out. So just for comparison's sake, let's take the weight of this. I get 20.2. Let's do one more. Yeah, 20.2. And let's compare that to the Ohlins front mount. 14.6. Wow. So already a big weight savings right there. Let's double check that. .8. Yeah, so roughly a 6-pound savings right there. Awesome. Okay, now just sort of try and line up that top mount. I'll stick it up in, and then we'll get the rest of this sorted out. So one thing you'll want to get your ABS sensor back in is to have this on. I believe this is for most / all VA chassis. So it looks like this needs some modification in order to fit this. This is a very oval hole, and this is obviously a square. It like just barely fits in, so I got a file. Okay guys, back. I went and I reamed out these holes a little bit. They literally just needed a little bit, but it's super snug the way that it is like that now. So that being said, the washer that came off, I'm gonna put the washer back on, and I am going to make sure it's on the side here. They have the camber notch as well, so I'm aligning my white notch that I had on my bolt with that, so that I'm consistent. Okay, at this point, I'll drop the jack. It should. Pull my hub around. If you can't get the bolt on the bottom, pull from the top and twist it around and in. And a couple shakes here and there, and that's back in. That on there. And it looks like we're good. The brake line, Ohlins supplies a brake line bolt. Because their brake line adapter does not have a threaded nut on it. So we'll take our OEM supplied 12 mil and take the Ohlins supplied and put that through with the nut on the back. Good. So, that being said, let's get this. Wait a sec. So it looks like just by setting, if I turn the camber bolt towards the outside of the car, so clockwise, it gives me positive camber. If I turn it towards the center, in the middle of the car, so counterclockwise, it'll give me negative camber to a certain extent. So I'll be relying on the camber plates above, obviously, but that's where that's at. So let's tighten these. I'm going to tighten them, but leave them loose so I can torque them later. Okay, the back is going to be a little bit easier to get out, I think. So it's really just one bolt. Don't need to worry about camber or anything on this. And then there inside the trunk, you're going to take the two upper mount bolts off. So let's do this. So because I have my computer, I can impact in there and I'll be able to get it in. So I'll have to obviously push down on that to get the strut out, but let's go do the trunk. Okay guys, just got you in the trunk. I have the Cusco cross brace in here, which would be the only complication. And then we have the two nuts there holding the strut up. So I'm going to put you on a tripod and get at those. My best guess is a 14. Correct. 14 mil. Alright. Those are out. Strut's ready to come out. Hey guys, so from here, all we're gonna do, upper mounts are out. I'm gonna basically push this down as much as I can and get this off. If I have to take the hub bolt off, I guess I can, but okay, rear is out. That rear seemed very light in the OEM, so we'll see. We got 8.6, 8.6 on the Ohlins. 8.0, 8.0, so still a 0.6 saving, looking nice. So just a slight comparison here. Oh, everything looks great. So let's stick this up and in. These have to be like this, but the upper strut has to be twisted to be not in that orientation. But almost like that, basically. So I'm going to stick this up and in. There's no brake line. Okay, that's in. That's sitting. I'll go put the nuts on up top. So I got one of those on up. And the other thing is Ohlins has some little spacers that need to go on either end of the lower mount location here. That is in. Upper bolts are on, lower is on. We're looking good, guys. So now I will go and get the other side done, and I will report back to you momentarily. Just getting the Cusco lower control arms on was a little bit of a pain, and it's no real pain at all, just that if you've seen my lower control arm video on the Cusco, there's these bolts, and the nut, you can see on the inside there's sort of an indent that needs to go in, because this can be made so that the strut is either more towards the outside or more towards the inside, depending on what chassis you have. That's always a pain to line up, and this was no different. So a little bit of a struggle there, but since I'm here, might as well go and tighten my end links and my support bolts for my Cusco. Might as well. Alright guys, so just a quick update. I've got the suspension on. Everything is dropped now. Everything was torqued. I've got the cambers all in and set roughly at about 0. And to my shock, the heights are all basically exact from stock. I don't know. Maybe Ohlins matches that exactly and knows perfectly. That's great. Exactly what I wanted. Maybe some spring settlement happens and I get another quarter in. Well, I don't know. I'm happy with a couple mils drop. I didn't want to drop it all, really. These were my numbers for my actual height that I'm measuring from the center of the hub up to the crown of the fender. So, and those are in millimeters, all of them. So P is my passenger side, D is my driver's side, front and back. So I got 375s on this side that you're looking at right here, and I got 371 and 363 over there. And the reasoning for that, I'm thinking, is because it's in my garage and it's not on level ground. So this side's actually, the driver's side's actually higher, and it's highest in the back, so the chassis is more squished on the high side and up on the low side, if that makes any sense. I will move the car out to potentially a level location and double check to make sure that everything is equal, but literally I did not play with any of the height on the coils, so voila, I'm pretty much set. That's kind of nice. I was anticipating doing a lot of height adjustments and maneuverings and minutiaes, but I don't have to. But yeah, I will check back in with you guys once I confirmed all of these numbers. Okay guys, just a quick update. So car's back up. All I'm doing right now is torquing. So I got the wheel off and I'm torquing down the bolts that go directly to the shocks. So in the rear, on the lower control arms, shocks are going to 82 foot-pounds, and then up top the strut tower tops are going to 15 foot-pounds. In the front they are going to 114 foot-pounds, the two lower ones, and then up top 15 foot-pounds again. So that's basically everything for torquing. And then I'm also tightening down the actual shock itself. The lower height adjustment, and making sure that my spring was also tightened down. But literally that's it. The only adjustments that I had to really make were just some of the cabling in the front. There is the I'll take the wheel off and show you. Alright guys, just to follow up, so this brake line bolt and nut combo and the mount that goes on it, I actually had to, or wanted to, go and bend that out towards the outside of the car, because I felt like the brake line that hangs out the back is very close to the shock and I didn't want it rubbing. And then on top of that, these needed to be just ground out just a touch on the top and bottom in order for the clip to actually get in there for the ABS sensor. And then this was my final approach to this bracketry and the bolt. So the OEM has the washer and the nut, and I added the ABS bracket basically into between that and the actual strut itself. So hope that's good, but everything else is in, everything else is torqued up, and we're good to go. 114 on these nuts, by the way. 114, 114, and then 14 on the top, 15 on the top. But that's what it looks like up there. Yeah, overall super impressed so far. Okay guys, so just to update on how to actually get in behind here on the front, because the adjuster is not in the top, it's actually down underneath. So if you go under and you turn the wheel, it's a lot easier to do it with the wheel from the back side turned out. Alright guys, so you'll see the little button at the bottom of the shock there. So what you're going to do is turn that little dial clockwise, so towards the passenger side of the car. You're going to turn it all the way till it hits 0, and then Ohlins recommended setting is 10 clicks if you go back counterclockwise. So if you turn it back to 0 clicks, that's full hard. So every click counterclockwise that you do, so click 1, click 2, click 3, is getting softer and softer. So 10 would be right in the middle. I'm sure that this has about 16, I think, clicks, 16 to 20. I can't remember the exact number, but if you go all the way back, go out 10, that's where Ohlins recommends. I'm on a daily setup, so I'm sticking at about 9. For my race setup, I'll stick at about a 2 click from the clockwise 0 position. So clockwise 0, full hard. Every click in the counterclockwise position is getting softer. Remember that. And other than that, these things are gold. So if you like the video, you want to see more content, please guys give me a like, and if you haven't done so already, give me a subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. Leave comments in the comment section for me. I always answer my comments. Go and check my videos in the past. There's not a single one that I haven't answered. Please like and subscribe. Thanks a lot guys. I'll get back to you with some new videos, new content coming. I've always got something to do on this car, and a potential race day coming up. Thanks again.